This episode is brought to you by Accenture. When your advertising operations fall out of sync, everything else follows. Spotify and Accenture are working together to reinvent the rhythm of ad sales, using automation, analytics, and smarter workflows to simplify campaign delivery and access better data across the business. The result? Less time spent on operations, more time connecting brands with the moments and fandoms that matter most. Learn more at accenture.com/Spotify.
Experience a membership that backs what you're building with American Express Business Platinum. Get 2 times membership rewards points per dollar on eligible purchases in key business categories, as well as on each eligible purchase of $5,000 or more, on up to $2 million in eligible purchases per calendar year. American Express Business Platinum. There's nothing like it. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-platinum.
Hi, this is Fat Mike from NoFX.
Hi, I'm actress Ann Mahoney.
Hey, friends, this is Hillbilly Jim. Hi, this is Kyle Dunbar from Ink Master, Season 3 and 4. Hey, this is Showdown Joe Frog.
Hey, everyone, this is Jessica Kiernan.
Hey, it's Ryan.
I'm Molly, and we're from Mother.
Hey, it's Shelby Chong, and I'm a Canadian from Vancouver.
Yo, what's up? This is me, DMC, and a place to be right here listening to the Toddcast Podcast.
The Toddcast Podcast is powered by Citywide Mortgage Services, providing complete financing and mortgage services for residential and small commercial businesses. Visit them at citywidemortgage.ca. Now, here's your host, Todd Hancock.
When you have to get back at it after a fairly substantial break from work, it's hard, right? Like, even if you like your job, it's hard. Our last podcast, our year in review, was released on Boxing Day, so about 2.5 weeks ago now. And we are back at it, the first episode in our 10th year of podcasting. Holy crap. You know, I had a friend say to me the other day, man, it must be nice to have a successful podcast. You're lucky to have gotten in at so early, and which is kind of true, but we're successful mostly because of the behind the scenes stuff that you don't even know about or even think about, right? The long nights of editing interviews or doing interviews, creating podcast production, doing the podcast, all of the social media marketing, the writing, creating graphics, finding bands to play our live shows at Blue Light Studio, working with those guys to pack the night, and sometimes working with management teams, and of course, hosting those nights. All that stuff, you know, takes time, it takes energy, and not that I'm complaining at all. It's the amazing sponsors too that we've had over the years, starting with the Hard Rock Casino Vancouver and their support out of the gate. Thanks to my buddy Spiro for making all of that happen. That was absolutely huge for this podcast back in year 1. Then getting the Roxy on, doing live shows there, signing at the Penthouse, Red Truck Beer, Milano Coffee, the Lamplighter. All those initial sponsors gave life to this podcast in such a way that I don't think I've even shared with them, that I was able to use that initial first year of money to kind of coast through, lack of better phrasing, to about the midpoint of year 2. And by then, of course, new sponsors, tons of rad guests, and we were kind of off to the races. But there were some lean years as well, like in year 3, 4, struggling to make ends meet, and, you know, paying a Vancouver mortgage, of course, a stay-at-home wife. And thankfully, that's when BCIT called me right around that point to see if I wanted to come and kind of join their radio arts and entertainment faculty and be a presence more than anything in their media labs, and like mark students, critique them, help with building curriculum and how they mark things and all that kind of stuff. Having that income coming in, like, that helps ease the pressure of having to find sponsors. Of course, I would love more sponsors, but the COVID years, I would say, probably the worst years for us, like to the point of almost stopping this podcast. Like, we just lost so many sponsors at the start of the pandemic. And to be honest, we still haven't really recovered from that, although we're definitely back on the feet and ready for a big year in 2024. Of course, with the good, though, you got to take the bad. It's seeing the garbage side of business. Like, right out of the gate, I got stiffed on sponsorship payment from Laugh Lines Comedy within the first 3 months of starting up. It was back in like 15. Like, oh, we're under new management or some bullshit like that. And I talked to my lawyer about it, and he goes, look, time spent versus the money that's owed, like, come on. Or just eating it and move on, which of course is what we did. Straight up, you would be blown away at how some people like run their businesses. Maybe you'll remember The Hearing Station and Viva Hears. Now, both of those businesses sponsored me. This is at a time when I really needed it. BCIT wasn't in the picture, and I don't know if I should name the guy or not, but anyway, there's a lot of people that listen to this podcast, I know for sure, that would know this person specifically. I don't think those businesses are around anymore, but former buddy, he stiffs me with over like $7,000 in unpaid bills. It's just like the shyster of all shysters, just a true shitbag. Oh, I'm getting, paid a bigger account on Friday. I'll pay you then, kind of thing. Or I just got paid, but I needed to pay my employees. With no employees, there's no business. So I'll get you the next time we get a big account or whatever, blah, blah, blah. I even tried to get him to do like, monthly payments, and like, dude, just shoot me $100 a month for like 5 years and we'll just call it even though after 5 years, of course, it wouldn't be even. It would be $6,000. Nope. Nada, just like no effort at all. This after him telling me that, time and time again that he would make it right. I will make it right. Well, 7 years later, hasn't made it right. A shining example of why you hear people say, like, never do business with friends. Now, of course, some of that's on me because I should have cut him off way sooner. Like, put it this way, that same thing happens to me today, to the podcast. I'll give 3 months, to kind of make it right, and that's that. We're done. No more advertising, and we'll cut ties, and that's that, right? Although that's not the case present day. Of course, all sponsors are outstanding. They're true champions of the little guy. Right? The indie world is what we're trying to pull off here. From Citywide Mortgage Services, our title sponsor, a good friend Dara and his team, anything mortgage related, they will dial you up and kind of hold your hand through the entire process and make it easy along the way, because it can be like somewhat overwhelming, right? Buy your new place, but it doesn't have to be. Same for Tedco RV Supplies, 7 years nonstop sponsorship. Milano Coffee have been with us for 8 years straight. Red Truck Beer, our official beer since we launched in 2015. This is their 10th year with us. Sacred Meds, they're into their 3rd year. FKP just signed on for another year last month. Blue Light Studio signed on to do monthly shows or more with us till the end of this year. Canadian Club Whiskey recently signed on for the whole year as well. Sponsorship today, I guess is what I'm saying, is where it needs to be. We're all winning. Like, we're all happy. There's great synergy between everybody, and I personally couldn't be happier. But it has been a grind to get here, though. I guess my point is, my buddy telling me I'm lucky to have a successful podcast because, starting when I did, it's a tad more than just that. My name is Todd Hancock. Appreciate you as always being there. Thanks for being there along for the ride yet again. We're rebuilding the workflow as we're catching up on things that have piled up and just kind of readjusting from relaxed holiday pace. You know how it is. And coming up swinging in year 10, it takes skill to be a good photographer. There's definitely an art to it. You need creativity, vision, creative narratives in one single frame. And rock photographer Paul Jendrasiak is solid at what he does and is a guest this week.
Well, I got started when I was about 18 years old and did the photography probably till I was about 20 or so. But before that, I was interviewing musicians. And because I was going to shows and all that, I thought, well, I'd like to figure out doing photography because I used to get all the rock magazines when I was a teenager, Hit Parade or Circus Magazine,
Rolling Stone, and
and I always enjoyed the spirit of the photography in there, and I thought, well, I'd like to give that a crack. And my dad gave me my uncle's old film camera, a old Pentax, probably from the 1950s, and started using that. But that wasn't really going to be enough to, capture what I needed to capture. But that kind of got me going for a few shows, and then got a more modern camera, well, modern for the time, for 1990. And then just, figured it out for myself, really.
Joining Paul this week is author, coach, and retired NBA center Acie Earl, who was part of the Toronto Raptors when they were an NBA expansion team.
It was, nobody knew kind of what was going on. It was like, okay, the NBA went to the expansion with the two teams, Vancouver and Toronto, and then every NBA team could only protect 8 guys. So it was kind of like this talk between March and June of who's getting protected. And there was a lot of weird movement and trades, and people didn't want to be protected. Some people wanted to be protected. Then it's like where people wanted to go. Nobody knew what was going to go on because of this getting paid in Canadian dollars. Were we going to get paid in Canadian dollars? Were we going to pay in US dollars? Like, do we got to get a passport? Do we just like the unsureness and the unknown was very, I wouldn't say it was scary because everybody was kind of in the same boat. Like the guys who didn't get protected were like, hey, like this is like your next chance to make it. So like a lot of us had a chip on our shoulder. We're like, okay, we got to show now this next team in the NBA we can play, right? So everybody was willing to take that. A lot of guys were willing to take that risk. The guys who didn't were some of the older veterans who didn't want to, go through that. Like BJ, a friend of mine from Iowa, BJ Armstrong. I was excited to go there because he was going to go there. And then, I heard all this. Like he didn't want to go. He was older in his career. He wanted to win championships. He got spoiled with the Bulls, So he was like, I'm not signing up for, for expansion to lose 80, 60 games a year.
Pretty good week. A rock photographer, a retired NBA center, and you'll hear from this week's musical guest in just a second, a rising country artist. Coming up shortly in Stop Me If You've Heard This Before, NHRA drag racer Clay Millican talks about being, no surprise here, he's an adrenaline junkie. That is powered by our good friends at FKP MMA. Over the Christmas break, as mentioned, they signed on for all of 2024. Super honored to be partnered with undeniably the best place to train in Vancouver. Learn self-defense, build your self-esteem, meet new friends, get fit doing it. My little guy Levi I think he's going into his 3rd year now of training and absolutely loves it. Vancouver's #1 training destination. Find them through fkpmma.com. Of course, all over social media as well. First, our first guest of 3, this week's musical guest, as mentioned, country singer Laura Bryna. You'll probably best know Laura from her hits Make a Wish and Life is Good, who shared the stage with superstars like Taylor Swift and Emmylou Harris. And after talking to her, you'll find that her career extends way beyond the music. She's an advocate for military causes, a U.S. Air National Guard spokesperson, a philanthropist, an author, a radio host.
Well, Dolly is, God, what a legend. And, one of my things that when I fall in love with an artist, I always like to look at what they do outside of their creativity. And I love that she's so philanthropic. She gives back in any way that she can, whether it was during the pandemic or it was, or it's children with her library. All different things. And so, yes, I'm a huge fan of her, but I love her music too. And her songwriting is incredible. I'm getting more and more into songwriting. So it's been fun to explore. And what does Laura want to say and what's next? And again, wish list. Dolly's definitely high on my list for sure.
Sure. And you think about of course she's revered in your world, in the country world. But think about the record that she just produced with tons of rock stars, like the singer of Judas Priest jumped on a song with her.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like she is loved by everyone. It's not just people in country.
Oh, everybody. And, she's so middle of the road. She's funny. She's like, you know what? I'm not political. I got fans on the left. I got fans on the right. And I like to keep it that way. She's great. She knows her fans and she knows how to really work the whole thing and just a genuine heart. And actually, a dear friend of mine played on that record.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, Dane Bryan, he's a keyboard player. He's amazing. I love him. In fact, we're roommates too in Nashville. Nice. But absolutely incredible. When he said the session was amazing too. And he produced one of the last records that Olivia Newton-John ever sang on. And in fact, it was with Olivia and Dolly. They sang Jolene together. It was Olivia's favorite song, and she always wanted, or one of her favorite Dolly songs, and she wanted to do it with Dolly. And that's one of the last things they they did together, and Dane got to produce it. And I said, how did that even happen? How did you come up with that? And he's been Olivia's music director for many years. And he said, Laura, the arrangement came to me the night before when I was sleeping in this dream. And it was just like one of those ding kind of moments. But
nice.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Dolly in concert?
I have. I saw her at the Hollywood Bowl, and it was amazing. I mean, that's a great venue too, and just a great live venue, and the sound is impeccable, and it just radiated Dolly all over it.
Laura is based in Nashville and Los Angeles, spent much of last year working with a producer named Damon Sharp, who's a Grammy Award winner, working on new music as I speak, I believe, or maybe it's done by now. We talked to Laura for, I think it was just over half hour, and you can hear it now at our iTunes, Spotify, Megaphone, SoundCloud. You can see the video at our YouTube channel. Of course, everything's at Toddcast Podcast. Covered a lot of ground, talking about working with the organization Musicians on Call, the crazy times that we lived through in COVID and the lockdown. She shared the story of her first concert, seeing NSYNC, and here she talks about doing the show with the PGA Tour Radio.
I do every now and then. I've done actually a couple radio shows. One was for the military. As you know, I have a huge love of the military, which was called Serving Your Country, where we would take dedications and requests from family members or friends that wanted to send a request or a dedication or a letter from home to someone in the military. And we would also play country music, me and Ramblin' Ray out of Chicago. And also I have a show called, it's with Golf Talk America with PGA Tour Radio. And it's called That's America to Me. So where I go and interview different people, all different walks of life, that specialize in whatever field they're in. I've interviewed Bill Anderson. I've interviewed Larry King, dear friend. And even Bob Fischel, who invented the heart stent. So like all different kinds of people. And so it's been great. I try to get to do that as much as I can, but it's a little nutty going around, living the dream, all of the above.
As a 20-year radio guy, before the podcast, I did 20 years of radio, like on-air personality, right? Pretty cool to hear that about Laura and how she works in radio as well. So to her music career, she listed everyone from Etta James to Wynonna Judd, Joan Jett as her inspirations. She had a jukebox in the basement as a kid growing up. How cool would that have been? She told stories about touring with country legend Clint Black, doing 9Gs. Man, I would love to do this. Doing 9Gs in an F-16 fighter jet, interviewing famous people, and Laura talked about being an author as well and writing kids' books.
You know what? This is so funny. When you dream as a child and about, I want to sing and I want to do this, you never know that down the road you're going to write children's books about your birds. Right. So I have parrots. I'm the crazy bird chick. And this is Snuggles, one of the birds. And I've written a Christmas book. Well, and this one will be coming out soon, but Snuggles Goes to Hollywood, this is Snuggles. But, and through the books, they learn different lessons and that they're there for one another. It's teamwork. And in this Christmas book, which is Tyler, Harmony, Snuggles, and the Christmas Tradition, they learn, they learn how to give back and help people. And that's something that was very important to my parents, for us kids to learn. And so they always wanted us to do that in our lives. And it's always been very important to me. So in this Christmas book, the birds learn about different traditions. Like, yes, in our family, we make cookies, we sleep under the tree, we decorate the tree, we go and sit on Santa's lap. But the birds also go to a soup kitchen or a homeless shelter, and they feed homeless birds. And also a tradition in our house, this is one of my favorites, is that my parents would always tell us, go find a student in your class who's less fortunate, who probably thinks that Santa may not come this year. And so we would go out and buy gifts and make gifts. And the night before Christmas, we would leave the gifts on their front porch, knock on their door, and run. And so that way Santa would come. and they never knew it was us. And so it's told through the bird's eye view that the birds learned this. So
I guess you could say that Laura is a Jill of all trades. It's pretty impressive stuff, really. She talked about her Christmas song wish list, her Janet Jackson cover song, and the fact that she has a Joan Jett cover song in the barrel ready to go. If you listen to the full conversation, you'll hear that. And Laura shared her career highlights thus far.
It is impossible, but I will say something that does really always stick out to me. I mean, I loved that Musicians on Call, but I mean, because I love giving back. So that's my thing. I'm so fortunate that I got to go on a USO tour in right before the pandemic. And it was the week of July 4th. And it was one of the most incredible experiences of my life. I was responsible for singing the national anthem at every performance. And then I also got to do Hometown Heroes, a song that I co-wrote for the Air National Guard. And to go there to Kosovo, Kuwait, an undisclosed location, Jordan, Djibouti, Africa. We went to Spain and Germany. I mean, to sit there, it's 4th of July. So, I mean, that's our independence. But then to go and sing the national anthem in front of all these men and women and everybody sing together on 4th of July or that week, and these men and women have been away for like 9 months, and we're just bringing a little piece of home to them to say thank you. And I remember like going on stage and just kind of just standing there each time for like, to me, I mean, it must have felt like minutes, but for me, it felt like an eternity to people. But I just sat there and I was like, if I never get back here, I want to be a sponge and suck it all in and just soak in this moment. And you look around and you see everybody in their fatigues and there's flags waving. And there you all are singing the song. And every word means something, from the to the flag to the bursting in air and the home of the brave. I mean, it's just, these men and women live these words, and I was the one that got to sing it. It's an incredible honor to be able to do that.
Red Truck Beer, delivered fresh, the official beer of the Toddcast podcast.
And now, stop me if you've heard this before on the Toddcast podcast.
Can you imagine driving 300 miles per hour in under 4 seconds? The G-forces exerted on your body, the raw power, we're talking 5 Gs. It would quite literally be a mind-bending experience. You're straight up defying gravity's pull. Clay Millican is one of the best racers of all time. 2018 was a big year for him. Couple victories, finished third overall, his highest career NHRA finish. He reset a national record with a 3.628 second quarter mile. The pressure on your body at that speed, it is hard to fathom. And when Clay was a guest, he talked in depth about what it's like to drive top fuel drag racing, driving over 300 miles per hour, what he's thinking seconds before the race goes down. He talked about his career highlights. And stop me if you've heard this before, Clay admitted that he's always been a bit of an adrenaline junkie.
Oh, from day one. I've been told this many times by my mama that she couldn't even take a bath without someone watching me. I would be, on top of the refrigerator jumping off with, a towel trying to use it as a parachute or whatever. She said that I could never be left alone, and I don't even remember that. It's just from the time that I was very, very young. Anything and everything that goes fast and makes noise, I'm into it.
Stop me if you've heard this before on the Toddcast podcast is powered by FKP MMA, Vancouver's #1 training destination at fkpmma.com. And now, highlighting our next Blue Light Sessions, powered in part by Canadian Club Whiskey. Meet your new cold one. We serve Canadian Club and Ginger ready-to-drink cocktails at all of our live shows. Visit canadianclub.com today.
Over subtle lines, I would've thought you were drinking if I wasn't up front the whole time. Seems you've got no business holding your foot to the floor. You got me clutching the chicken head above the door, and I don't think I wanna run shotgun anymore. Keep your hands on the wheel and both eyes on the road. It's too late to stop now when we've got so far to go. You got me shaking in my boots, shaking in my boots. We've had a brush with death and hour ever since we left the street, and from the back they're screaming louder about the trouble that they say. Another third day of driving across the eastern shore. I better tell you how I really feel. Oh, I better tell you how I really feel. Did I not already mention to keep both eyes on the road? Stay at full attention. You're gonna get us where we're going. You got me shaking in my boots.
60 people, an intimate room, an intimate night with the band Brass Camel. That's a new song for them, new for the podcast as well. It's called Shakin' in My Boots, and I'd be willing to bet they'll play that one at our next live show at the Blue Light Studio, East Vancouver. So it's on Friday the 26th, the last Friday of the month. Brass Camel and Badmini, and we'll play something from Badmini later on in the podcast as well. That's going to be one hell of a night. Interviews. I will interview the band, but you can ask questions as well, and while the band's playing, if you want to check out, hey, like play that cover song, if they're so inclined, they may just do that as well. Very cool nights. Intimate. They're interactive performances as well. We capped the night at only 60 people, 60. So I think, I'm not sure actually, I think there's still a handful of tickets left for this one. $20 through eventbrite.ca. It's $25 if you want to risk it and wait for the door, but don't do that for this show. 7 o'clock for the doors, 8 o'clock start. We'll probably wrap things up around 10:30, something like that. Hope you can make it out. I played you a new song for Bend Sinister as well. It's called Renegade. Super fun song for those guys. Now, that's the thing with that band, I think, is you can kind of always expect gold out of them at this point. Like, I love the band, great group of guys. I actually live like a block away from Dan, their singer, who is just a good dude. So coming up in just a few minutes, Listen to This, Billy Talent bassist John Gallant talks about social media and how that's changed the musical landscape of being in a rock band and what's kind of expected of you. That is powered by 7-year sponsors. Cannot thank Tedco RV Supplies enough. They are a key reason we're able to keep doing what we do. RV service, repairs, ICBC accredited. Find them through their website, tedcorvsupplies.com. They're also on Facebook and on Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it, Tedco RV Supplies. First, the second of 3 Toddcast guests this week, our sporting guest is Acie Earl, former NBA center for your Toronto Raptors. We can say your, right? Because they're our team. Sure. We'll take ownership. We're in Vancouver, but whatever. It's powered by Hand Over Hand Textiles in Vancouver. Naturally dyed goods for your home, your body. Bandanas and socks, dishcloths, shirts, scarves, pillows. You name it, you'll love their work. Really, really top-notch stuff. And they only use pure plant extracts, natural fibers. In fact, it's actually good. It's good for the world, good for Mom Earth. Locally owned, check. Locally operated, yes, indeed. Find them through handoverhandtextiles.com. They are also on Instagram. So you'll best know Acie Earl from playing in the NBA with the Boston Celtics, the Toronto Raptors in the mid-90s. He played 4 seasons in that league. He went in the first round in the 93 NBA draft, 19th overall, same year as Chris Webber and Penny Hardaway, some good company there. Played 74 games in his rookie season, averaging 5.5 points, 3.3 rebounds per game. Not bad. Here he talks about what still stands out from the day that he was drafted in 93.
Well, one, I slipped a little bit. I was projected to go lottery, and that was about that year. The year before is the year where the NBA was really starting to go young. Like, it wasn't the 4 or 5 year player anymore. It was the first or second year player where we're going to draft early because they may have a high ceiling, and we can get them for longer at a cheaper price because we're starting early. So yeah, it's kind of like the whole for 5 or 6 top picks were all like underclassmen who came out early. So I got a little nervous for a while. But
kidding, right?
Yeah, but it was like, to be amongst all those guys, to be in that same draft class, C. Webb, Penny Hardaway, Rodney Rogers, J.R. Ryder, Allen Houston, Vin Baker, Lindsey Hunter. Yeah, it's like, wow, and a lot of us knew each other from playing in college, some a little bit in high school. So like for all us to be in this, one room or one weekend together is like surreal,
The Full Talk with Acie is 37 minutes long. You can hear it. You can see it right now. iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, Megaphone, and on YouTube, all over our social media platforms. So follow us along at Toddcast Podcast. So Acie only played 30 games in the second season in the NBA, the year that he was selected by the Toronto Raptors in the 95 expansion. He posted his best numbers with that team, but midway through 96-97, he was traded to the Bucks, only played 9 games in the NBA season, his final season. From there, Acie said, you know what? All right, I'm going to go play ball overseas. Played in like everywhere, man. France, Australia, Turkey, Russia, China, Poland, Kosovo, Montenegro, Austria, more places. And we talked about the biggest differences of playing in the NBA versus those various leagues all around the world.
Tons, because of the level. Like, I played 12 years, 8 countries. So, like, you know, now most of the Eastern Bloc countries are the same. Like, you know, Poland, Russia, like that style of play, Serbia, Montenegro, like that style of play is pretty much the same. You know, Western style of play in France and Germany and, Turkey to a point a little bit, was different. You know, Australia is different than China, you know, so it's like, you know, tons of differences, you know, of the play. So each country was different, but I had more success in the Eastern Bloc countries because I contribute to a couple of things. One, I had a high basketball IQ. I always had a high basketball IQ. When I play in those countries, you play with a lot of former Yugo play, you know, Croatian, Serbian, you know, Montenegro, Bosnia, Slovenia. So they have a high basketball IQ. Mm-hmm. And then 2, I played my rookie year with Dino Raja, or 2 years with Dino Raja. And so Dino was, you know, probably the premier between him and Petrovic and Tony Kukoc and Vlade. Those are probably the 4 premier European players at the time. And I played for his coach in France. And Dino gave me a good recommendation. Actually, the first day of practice, they called each other on the cell phone, and Dino gave me a recommendation. So then about every year, I played with a guy who Dino knew or played with. So it was always like, yeah, that guy's a good guy. That guy works hard. That guy shares the ball. That guy's not going to dog it. Yeah. So that was, you know, as I look back, that was a great, you know, point where, you know, Dino really set me up for success in some of those countries.
And beyond basketball, Acie's been getting into writing lately, which you'll hear about in the full interview, and how bands like Run DMC influenced pop culture back in the day. And one of the main reasons that he was a guest is because he recently wrote a book called The 135 Most Influential Rap and Hip Hop Songs of All Time and Why.
Yeah, I actually wrote 16 books, actually.
Wow. Yeah, you wrote books, but you recently released this book. How hard was it to get to number 1, let alone top 10?
No. So what? This is different. So we did not rank them. So we did not rank the artists.
Okay, so it's a little bit easier, but still hard though.
Well, I mean, you could rattle off 10 or 15 in 15 seconds.
Sure.
Right. And that's what we did. Like me and my buddy Hans, my ex-roommate, who introduced me to hip hop, you know, New York gritty hip hop for a while. You know, I'm from the Midwest. So a lot of that New York stuff I wasn't into, especially when I went to Boston. When I went to Boston, I got into it more because New York, right?
Sure.
And then Toronto has, you know, influence in New York. So like my East Coast stay really got me into more hip hop. So like I said, so when we did the book, it's not a ranking nor the best song. It's the most influential hip hop and rap songs of all time. So it's not just females or males or groups or artists or genres or eras. It's just everything hodgepodge. So it's like I said, we wanted to kind of hit everybody who had an influence, right? Not just like the popular stuff. So we got some names in here people would have not known. I actually have 2 overseas artists.
Oh, great. So there's going to have to be a little bit of Google searching.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's all on YouTube music. So
yeah, of course.
That's the beauty of it. Yeah.
And was there ever a time where you thought like, oh man, I've bitten off more than I can chew to write this, or?
No, because like whenever I did, I called Hans, and we would have to sit down, and I'd say, hey, I got these 4 people or 4 songs. Am I on point with this? And he'd be like, yay or nay. And so like I got the first 7,500, and then I called some other people too. Well, one person from the West Coast, another Midwest artist. Actually, me and Jimmy King collaborated on a couple things as well. He's a big hip hop guy. So it's like I had enough people in my camp I can get enough feedback from.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The issue is I had to make sure that the research part was right, like why we chose that person and why that was true.
The Toddcast podcast is powered by Milano Coffee, bringing you the finest espresso and coffee concepts in the world. Online at milanocoffee.ca.
I wear my sunglasses at night so I can watch you weave and breathe your storylines. I wear my sunglasses at night so I can keep track of the visions in my eyes. Why she's deceiving me, it cuts my security. She got control of me. Turn to her and say, don't switch the blade on the guy in shades. No, don't masquerade with the guy in shades. No masquerade. I can't believe you got it made with the guy in shades. No, I wear my sunglasses at night so I can forget my name while you collect your claim. And I wear my sunglasses at night so I can see the light that's right before my eyes. While she's deceiving me, she cuts my security. She got control of me. I turn to her and say, don't switch the blade on the guy in shades. No, don't masquerade with the guy in shades. No, don't masquerade. I can't believe. Don't be afraid of the guy in shades. No, don't be afraid. You can't escape, 'cause you got it made with the guy in shades. No, oh no. I wear my sunglasses. I wear my sunglasses. I wear my sunglasses at night.
And now, listen to this on the Toddcast podcast.
You've heard Billy Talent's music on good rock radio stations worldwide since the mid-90s. Formed in Toronto in 93, they've had the same lineup since, although their drummer, Aaron, has been on a hiatus from the band since 2016 because of a relapse of MS. Jordan Hastings of Alexis on Fire has been filling in the meantime. And the reason I say you've heard their music worldwide is quite simply, they are massive in Europe in comparison to home turf here in Canada, North America, and they're big here. They sold over 1 million albums in Canada alone, almost 3 million internationally, and you've seen them grow exponentially over the years, from originally being called Pez to touring the world, playing arenas to tens of thousands of fans and followers. And when their bassist John was a guest, we talked about his career highlights and how Guns N' Roses heavily influenced him early on, what it was like recording their Afraid of Heights album without drummer Aaron and with Jordan instead. We talked about Superman and Batman, seeing Burton Cummings in concert, the band's success overseas, and John talked about how social media has changed the musical landscape. Listen to this.
Yeah, that's a kind of it really has, and it's hard to keep up with, especially when you're not too interested. Like when you reach a certain age and cross a threshold, some of the newer things just don't interest you anymore. You just don't feel like learning it. Mm-hmm. So there's that whole process too. Like Snapchat, like I'm up to date on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. I don't do, but I'm fine. Like I know all about it. And now there's Snapchat, and I'm like, okay, it's another thing. Like, do I really want to dive into this? And I don't.
like, do I need an Instagram page? Do I need to have,
But then you get people like my drum tech's telling me the other day, you got to have Snapchat, man. All the bands are doing Snapchat. I'm like, yeah, I guess so. Like, I guess we should do that. And so, that's how it's all changed. It's really bizarre. You're kind of, I don't know. It's just so fast. Things are so much faster than they were when we were young.
Right.
And, but we try to stay on top of it and relevant because it is important and it's cool. And I like to think that we're not dinosaurs and, we can navigate through these waters. But it is what it is. And I think in general, I think it's really hurt music, but social media and the internet and everything, I think the quality of music was better in the past. Now I think there's really quality music, but there's just too much music. It's everywhere. People can make music too easily and also get it out there too easily. So that's just a saturation.
Listen to This on the Toddcast podcast is brought to you by Tedco RV Supplies in Langley, an ICBC approved repair shop. Visit them on Facebook and Twitter at Tedco RV Supplies.
all lonely people, and it's alright to need somebody in the pale light, to wanna leave it all. And I recognize when I see your face, when I open my eyes, everything will be just fine. I might just lay right here for a while. Now we're spreading misinformation, always knowing. Now we're spreading misinformation, always showing. Now we're spreading misinformation, where you going? Is this real or just a dream?
Here we go. Here's the dilemma. Like, do we talk about this show because it's the same night as our show and we want people to come to ours? And of course we talk about this show. The band is called Summer's Brother, a new song for them, new for the podcast, called Misinformation. Yeah, they are playing a show at the Wise Hall at the end of the month, the same night, unfortunately, as our next show. I won't be able to make it. So Friday, January 26th, So Romeo with Tiger Really and Summer's Brother. Like Us, doors are at 7, show starts at 8. Like Us, $15 in advance, $20 at the door. That is going to be one hell of a fun night, though. Holy man, I love all three bands. If you're not coming to our show, let's put it this way. If you're not coming to the Blue Light session, consider hitting the Wise Hall the last Friday of this month, all right? Great room, great bands. So you heard Dominic Frico, and that was his cover of Corey Hart's Sunglasses at Night. Dom is originally from Vancouver, based in Germany, though, for the last handful of years. I think maybe 4 or 5 now, actually. So does that make him from Germany now? Or is he still from Vancouver? Like, actually, he does come to Vancouver every once in a while and still play shows. So I guess he's maybe just, I don't know. Anyway, he came here last summer, played a show with the podcast. One of the first ones, in fact, we did with the Blue Light Studio. A fantastic night. Great to see him again. Such an amazing performer and just a solid guy as well. Speaking of live music, find that list of indie shows that are happening locally with the indie scene at toddhancock.ca. Playing one, going to one. If it's indie, let me know about it. I'll post it up at the website. We do get thousands of visits a day. I don't know how many per day for that page specifically, but get some free advertising. Why not? And hey, maybe I'll even play something on the podcast as well. Okay, so let's get to the final guest of episode 322. Holy man, we're getting into there. A rock photographer named Paul Jendrasiak, this week's entertainment and lifestyle guest. Powered as always by Sacred Meds, Canada's best craft cannabis and psilocybin dispensary. Say that one 5 times fast. They ship anywhere in Canada. You can get oils and hash and all kinds of edibles, peyote and vapes and lollipops and shatter and bath bombs and it's crazy. It really is amazing. At registry, don't forget to do this. First time on, mention you heard about them through the podcast. It will instantly upgrade your profile and open up places on the site that normally aren't there. So through their website, sacredmeds.com, they will ship anywhere in Canada. Outside of that, sorry. So Paul started following us on Twitter, I think about midpoint of last year, and talk about an immediate follow back. Like his social media pages are just splashed with all these amazing pictures of name the rock star, straight up. He was definitely somebody that I wanted to get on the podcast to kind of share his story with you. On his official website, he says he has a love affair with music. It started in his teenage years, like many, I guess, right? His dad bought his first guitar at 14 to join in the fun, he says, right? With rock stars Eddie Van Halen and Steve Vai and Yngwie and Randy Rhoads and Jeff Beck and all these guys, right? So like many back in the day, Paul had long hair in his high school years. Who didn't? And by 18, he put the guitar down to start interviewing rock stars. And it wasn't long after that he started photography and photographing them as well. So starting off with one of the best rock bands of the last 30 years.
Well, I mean, it was kind of, I suppose, the first show I photographed was the Black Crowes, and seeing the Black Crowes back then in 1990 was like probably seeing a early version of the Rolling Stones or the
Sure,
Small
100%.
Faces.
Yeah.
And that was the first concert that I had a photo pass for. Unfortunately, I didn't know that you had pit access, so my shots were all from the balcony. They weren't that great, but they're special to me. I mean, if you know what I mean, because they're your first. And so I kind of figured it out. And the first show that I shot, that I realized, oh, okay, maybe I am pretty good. It was kind of funny, I suppose. There was a band called Dred Zeppelin.
I remember that. It was like a reggae Zepp.
Yes. And I photographed them, and I had a pretty good shot of the lead singer. And I thought, oh, maybe I'm not too bad. And the magazine I was shooting for, the editor, looked at that picture and said, oh, yeah, that's really good. And I thought, oh, okay. So then, it was just, you're shooting film back then. I mean, we're in this digital world these days. I mean, people are going back to film, but when you're shooting shows, you don't know if you got what you think you got, and because of the lighting and all that. And so it took a little bit of trial and error, but I mean, right off the bat, I was, photographing acts like REO Speedwagon, Megadeth, Slayer, Ted Nugent. I was getting some nice shots, but I mean, what I think a lot of times you're doing, no matter what you're doing, you're emulating. You see in a rock magazine, well, these shots, I like these types of shots. So you yourself go out there and try to emulate those. The same thing. I interviewed musicians. First musician I ever interviewed was Gene Simmons. I was a couple of days out of high school, 18 years old. So if you're going to dive in at the deep end of the pool, I guess.
Sure, sink or swim. Yeah.
What a great story, hey? Like not realizing, I'm allowed to be up front to take pictures, and you live, you learn, I guess, right? The Full Talk with Paul is online now through Spotify, SoundCloud, Megaphone, YouTube. It's just over half hour long. You've seen his work, his photography in big magazines, Guitar Player, Vintage Guitar, RIP Magazine, Hit Parader, Kerrang, Burn, Young Guitar. He was featured in an Ernie Ball campaign. Super, super impressive stuff, right? And we went way beyond photography with Paul as well, like we normally do, like the music he grew up around, and like Deep Purple, Sabbath, Billy Joel. He talked about working in tourism in West Michigan. He shared a sideways story involving Joe Satriani, and how you don't necessarily need a great camera today because iPhones are amazing. And he talked about the advance of AI as well.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get a picture that's almost every bit as good, and it's going to get infinitely better as the next generation of your phone comes out. So yeah, it's amazing. What's interesting, kind of, obviously the whole AI thing is going on. So Adobe just kind of went full on with a lot of the AI stuff, and the pictures that you can create with Adobe and AI look more lifelike than some of the camera pictures that you take, because those camera pictures now, some of them, don't look real. It's kind of interesting seeing that, in comparing and contrasting that. I mean, if I see a photograph, I want a photograph to pretty much look like a photograph,
Sure. Yeah. I saw something the other day that I just laughed at it. It was a girl that had, I guess, given her face to the AI.
Yeah.
And it was like the whole point of the account was, here's me, but it's AI driven.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's her in a bikini, it's her in a car, it's her golfing, it's all this shit, but none of it's real.
Right.
And of course it had like 220,000 followers or some shit like that, right?
Yeah, I know. It's madness.
Dude, it's maddening. That infuriates me, man.
Well, the funny thing is that, and even before the AI thing, there'd be people who would accuse me of photoshopping a certain guitar into somebody's hands.
No, really?
And I'm not like a real Photoshop wizard or anything by any means. And I didn't Photoshop that guitar into somebody's hands, it would be like, well, they weren't playing that guitar until then. It was like, yeah, they were, because I was there.
You're like, I guess I got the first shot of them playing it, looks like.
Yeah. So, I mean, but for a minute, like you almost question yourself because, as time goes on, your memory does get a little bit rusty.
It's so true, though. Like, if you know what you're doing with the camera on your iPhone, you really can get great pictures. It's just a matter of learning what it can do. So Paul talked about Gen Xers as well and generational differences. Pantera came up and a trip down memory lane. He talked about how Kiss's Gene Simmons can be intimidating, the innocence of pre-internet and grunge's takeover of hair metal, and what he would consider his career highlights.
I mean, I think photography is obviously something that I've come back to. So, I mean, I think, with something that I would be remembered for would be photography. I was fortunate enough a few years ago to have an exhibition at a museum here in Michigan. So I'm proud of that. Proud of, my photography from a professional perspective. But I enjoy, creating and communicating. I think that that's something that's been kind of a natural aspect for me, I suppose.
Entertainment guest visits are powered by Sacred Meds, Canada's best craft cannabis and psilocybin dispensary. Visit sacredmeds.com.
Standing by my door, looking for my woman. I'm wondering where she's gone. Well, the rain is cold tonight, and I know she's warm in someone else's arms. Well, do we play these games? She gets off while I'm ashamed. I gotta get away. And maybe I'm to blame for getting wrapped up in her chain. I gotta run away. She's got me like a fly. She's eating me alive. Like widow whip is spinning and her cold breath is chilling. I'm begging for you, please, let me out, let me out. Got me in a rush after just one touch. I'm begging for you, please, let me out, let me out. Looking back, I know I should have run away. But I can't stand to go. I'm tied up in her room, right where she wants me. Why do we play these games? She gets up while I'm ashamed. I gotta get away. And maybe I'm to blame for getting wrapped up in her chain. I gotta run away. Like widow whip is spinning and her cold breath is chilling. I'm begging for you, please, let me out, let me out. Got me in a clutch after just one touch. I'm begging for you, please, let me out, let me out. I'm begging for you, please, let me out, let me out. Got me in a clutch after just one touch. I'm begging for you, please, let me out, let me out.
Such a solid song, one of the best of last year. They are called Badmini. A great song called Black Widow, which, if you're a betting person, I'd be willing to bet big money that you'll see that one live at our next Blue Light sessions. So the last Friday of the month, on Friday, January 26th, Blue Light Studio, Brass Camel, and Badmini together. 45-minute sets, interviews, performances, as mentioned, intimate and interactive. You can ask the band questions and hopefully play some songs that you suggest or whatever. These nights are filmed. We, of course, give video to the bands to be able to chuck around on their socials as well. It's $20 right now through eventbrite.ca. It's $25 at the door. Doors, once again, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock show. Looking forward to our next podcast. One of the guys in Tesla, Frank Hannon, jumped on a Zoom with us a little while back. That is happening next week. Our resident sports loudmouth, Mr. Tequila, will join in and round out the cast with hypnotherapist, Reiki master teacher, Magna Baptista. Of course, wanted to give a big thanks to this week's guests as well. Laura Bryna, retired NBA center, Acie Earl, and photographer Paul Jendrasiak. Appreciate you all taking the time to jump on a Zoom with us and love hearing about your stories. Many thanks. Great to connect, of course, and happy and prosperous 2024 for everyone. And that's going to do it for this one, episode 322. Once again, my name is Todd Hancock. Thank you so much for listening. If you like what you heard, please tell your friends about us. Word of mouth is a big way of how we grow. We are part of the Realm Network based out of New York City, realm.fm for more of those guys. You can subscribe, as mentioned, on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, Megaphone, YouTube. Comment and rate wherever you're listening or watching. Search us out through Toddcast Podcast. Huge thanks to all of our wonderful sponsors. Find links to all sponsor websites at toddhancock.ca. If you want to sponsor the podcast, you can for as little as $10 a day. Keeping her at that rate, it's like the Costco hot dog. It's always been that rate. $300 through toddhancock.ca. Maybe we'll have a beer, have a coffee, and see what's up, all right? Great to connect. And if you help us find a sponsor, we will give you a commission. I guess we could even call this podcast the side hustle, right? For both me and you. All right, till next time, don't be an asshole. Nobody wants to be around that. Have fun, play hard. Most of all, believe in yourself.
You've been listening to the Toddcast Podcast, powered by Citywide Mortgage Services, dedicated to helping you find the best mortgage rates. Available 7 days a week at citywidemortgage.ca.
Queen Carvania stood haloed by the morning sun. An army hung on her every word.
My champions, I have sold my chariot on Carvana. 'Twas a lovely SUV, an inexplicably queenly offer. They're even coming to the castle to collect it. Tonight, we feast! An offer you can feast on. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
Now, before you go hunting for something else to listen to, let me make it easy. I'm Mike Carruthers, host of a podcast called Something You Should Know, and I speak with experts about fascinating things that affect your life, from human behavior, relationships, health, science, and everyday mysteries. We've been downloaded millions of times because every episode teaches you something you'll be talking about later. Open up Something You Should Know and give it one episode. You might just find your new favorite podcast.
Reality TV is messy.
Pop culture is louder than ever.
And the internet
completely unhinged.
Welcome to Roxanne
and Chantel,
the podcast where cousins Roxanne and Chantel break down reality TV, celebrity drama, and the stories everyone's texting about.
We recap the shows,
spill the headlines,
and sit down with the stars themselves.
No filter,
no boring takes,
just the tea.
New episodes every week.
If it's trending,
we're talking about it.
This is Roxanne
and Chantel.
Let's get into it.